Good morning and welcome. Happy Friday. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason. Man, I'll tell you what, after the last, 24 hours in change, sit back, try to relax, strap on that seatbelt, leave the driving to us. Maybe forget the coffee. Let's just go right to the Jack Daniels. I mean, this is another crazy day. Trade wars heating up. A lot of rhetoric across the board. Another major sell-off occurring again, and uncertainty, right? And the bad part is, when we do get some clarification, it seems like it's worse than expected. I was hoping for a bounce back today, but that ended as China has retaliated in the trade wars that's got the markets on edge. We had jobs out today. Listen, it wasn't good because it was too good. Yeah, I'll say it. It was too good, and it is just causing chaos in the markets. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And I will, I guess we'll just start here. We'll start here. We'll start with the jobs. And then we will go in and talk about what's going on with tariffs. What did China do today? What was Donald Trump's response? And I'll just say that, again, Wall Street on edge. Really, everything's on edge. A massive, here, I guess, good news. I'll give you good news. We added 228,000 jobs in the month of March, according to the government. Well above expectation. That's like 100,000 above expectation. They did go back and revise the previous month's lower, so, and it was quite a bit that got revised down, but still way above what anybody was expecting inside of the number. Like I said, January revised down 14,000. February revised down 34,000. So that's about 48,000. But the unemployment rate, I guess if there was one piece of news that as Wall Street, listen, they need the Fed to ride to the rescue here. The unemployment rate went up to 4.2 from 4.1. But I'll be honest with you, just because it was almost 4.2 last time. It was 4.14, so it did it really jump a tenth of a percent? Not really, but it got over 4.15, so they round up 4.2. Wages up 0.3%. That was in line with expectations. They said the annual increase in wages year over year, 3.8%. They were expecting 4%. So that kind of really sums up the jobs. Healthcare up 54,000. Social assistance, that's a weird one. This category has really grown. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe that's state governments hiring. I'm not sure. Up 24,000. Retail trade up 24,000. I don't know that I buy that one necessarily, but okay. Transportation and warehousing up 23,000. Government only down 4,000. So the one thing about this report, whenever they did the survey, obviously none of the Doge stuff still reflecting in that data. That'll probably start next month. But anyway, that was the jobs number. And already, listen, Wall Street was going to be down, but it seemed like it was going to be reasonable. And then all hell broke loose when the Chinese came out and said, okay, 34% tariff on all U.S. goods. So China now has retaliated. Donald Trump immediately went onto social media saying the Chinese panicked. That's what he called it. They panicked, and they made the wrong play. I don't know what that means. I mean, either, are you playing a game, not playing a game? It was very confusing. So yesterday, Lutnick, remember that, the guy, I don't think a lot of the guy, he came out on TV and said, listen, these aren't changing. In other words, anybody expecting these to just be like a negotiation, that's not happening. And then another one of his name's escaping me now. I was actually sitting there watching him talking. He said the same thing. Then Donald Trump got in. Well, maybe here's the big thing too. TikTok. Well, we kind of forgot about it. The thing they're supposed to have a deal. I want to say by this weekend. And Amazon put a bid in and this and that. I'm wondering if that's off the table altogether. Could you imagine? Will TikTok shut down? That's what's supposed to happen. I don't know. Is the United States, is Donald Trump going to put 100% tariff on China? Nobody knows. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour on this Friday. Fingers crossed here that maybe the selling is over, at least for today. The only reason why I say that right now, the Dow is down just over 1,000 points, 39,500. Okay. All right, I got more breaking news here. We'll get to that in just a moment. But the reason is the Dow at its lowest today was down 1,700 more points. Remember, yesterday was down, 1,600 points. It was broke 39. That was 38,000 in change. We'll see. I don't know. And again, we're going to have some breaking news here in just a minute. The S&P 500. It's down 160 points. I know, it's incredible what has happened. Yesterday the S&P was down over 4%, 5%, but it's off the lows. So it got very close to breaking 5,000. Right now we're down 168, 52.28. The NASDAQ, which was by far the biggest loser yesterday, down over 6%. It's off the lows, down 550, right at 16,000. It was well below that this morning. The 10-year note, 396. Listen, it was all the way down to 3.9. And I'm going to say this. Listen, the one, if you listen to the TV, they'll say, okay, well, look at it. Look at interest rate. Look at the 10-year note. That's good. Yeah, I guess so. But tell them why it's down here. Because they think it's a global recession. Listen, they think full-blown recession. That it's as plain as that. Now, if it stays here or goes even lower, which I think it might, and we don't get a full-blown recession, then yeah, that would be great. How about this one? Crude oil. Wow. Crude oil off over $10 a barrel in the last 2 days. Another $5 today, down to $61.87. Hey, that's good news. But again, Why is oil like this? Because, well, they think everyone is going to get fired here. So, I mean, that's what they think. Gold. Now, gold yesterday, it got hammered, came back, finished down less than $20. I don't know that it's going to do that today. Now, gold's off the lows as well, but gold right now down $75. 3,042. Silver. Now, silver had a horrible day yesterday, and I actually thought it was going to be a worse day today. Maybe not. Silver at the lows was all the way down to $29. It's now $29.97. So things are moving very, very, very quickly here. So we'll do our best to keep you as updated as possible. Donald Trump now calling for Jay Powell to stop playing politics. This is the perfect time for Jay Powell to cut interest rates. He is always late. Well, the Fed is historically late. Why are they always late? Well, because they always wait for the data. And the data, right, the data's always old. Of course, they already don't believe me. They have all the data. He could change his image now and change it quickly. Energy prices are down. Interest rates are down. Inflation is down. I don't know about that. Now, eggs are down. That's true. Eggs are down. Jobs are up. We just got that jobs report. Big win for America. Cut. Now, these are in all caps. Cut interest rates, Jerome, and stop playing politics. So, once again, Donald Trump is now essentially telling Jay Powell what to do here. I don't know what to do. I get it. He's not wrong. But this is the problem. This is the thing that we've been talking about, really for the last couple of years, since all of this really kind of started. So, we had to get through COVID because they spent so much money, right? They hid everything. Like, no one really knew nothing. We went through the first round of inflation. Notice how I said first round. And then it came down to, listen, it's really simple. We have an enormous amount of debt. We shut down, this is probably as simple as I can do it. Think about this. We shut down the economy. Told people, don't even go to work. Crazy. And then, guess what? We'll actually pay you more not to go to work than to actually go to work. That's what we did. And everybody could say, okay, I get it. We spent a lot of money. Look at what we did. Right? Okay, yeah, of course, we spent a lot. But what was COVID? 4 years ago? Do you know that we actually spend more money now? It's true. We spend more money now, the government, than it did during COVID. How's that possible? The economy's not shut down. Right? We don't have, think about it, all the money that they gave out. If you owned a business at all, you just sent something into the government and they sent you thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. They're still spending it. They're still spending it. And now, no one knows what to do. Because the debt to GDP, really, if you think about it, GDP should be way higher with all the money we spend. But it's not. And like I said, Donald Trump has a plan. It's not a good one, but don't confuse it, right? There wasn't a good plan to pick from. That didn't exist. But he picked one plan. Hey, I'm going to cut government, which we've made a lot of noise about cutting government. I will say this, Challenger Gray and Christmas yesterday did say, hey, we had over 200,000 announced job cuts from the federal government. So at least now, and that's what you do. You make that announcement, then you fire the people. So I'm expecting that to happen. But outside of that, they want to spend money. We know this, right? Donald Trump wants to cut taxes. He said this, campaigned on it, right? Wants to keep his original tax cuts permanent. And then on top of that, I don't want to tax tips and I don't want to tax overtime. Can't pay for it. But one of the things that they said, hey, we're going to create some revenue with these tariffs. These tariffs are a tax. He can say, now listen, he's going to get a break here, right? Because energy prices, at least for these couple of days, they're going to come down. That's a good thing. Unfortunately, everyone's kind of, when you put a tax on everything we import, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's going to cost more money. But this revenue, this is really where it gets weird. Because you'll hear, guys like Larry Kudlow who have no clue. It's going to generate $800 billion. No, it's not. No, it's not. That'd be impossible. I mean, we'd literally, all of a sudden tomorrow, would have to buy twice the amount of stuff from China that we do now to get $800 billion. That dog doesn't hunt. It could be half of that. It could be $400 billion if the amount of imports doesn't go down, which does anyone think that's happening? Already, look at what the car makers have done. We're just going to shut plants, and of course imports are going to go down. But if they didn't, and exports don't go down, right? Look at what China just did today, right? If people don't get laid off, if people don't get fired, if people can still buy things, if companies' earnings don't get any worse, that's not logical either, right? I mean, why is Wall Street falling so much? Because they know, gosh, all these companies, their earnings are going to be worse. So, okay, so more breaking news. Here we go. Trump saying Vietnam is negotiating a deal. I don't know. So, I guess, does that mean those jobs aren't coming back? Right? See, this is why this doesn't work. This can't work. Jay Powell now has, wow, Jay Powell has responded to Donald Trump. Man, the news goes fast here. Powell sees tariffs raising inflation, said the Fed will wait before further rate moves. So, interesting choice of words. He didn't say further rate cuts. He just simply said further rate moves. And now, speaking of moves, the Dow is now down 1,300, so you're going the wrong way again. The S&P's down 200. The Nasdaq's down over 600, so we're going to keep watching. Listen, I think this is just, we're going to see this all day today, but possibly maybe a break for Nike. They don't make any shoes here. They make all of their shoes in China and Vietnam, all of them. And this is something, we talked about this yesterday. Nike can't snap their fingers and build shoes here. It doesn't work. It'll take them years. It's not like we've got these huge building. And I'm going to tell you, these things are huge. Manufacturing plants at the scale that they need to be, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, millions of square feet for one building. We don't build warehouses like that here. No. It's like where I'm at. Right? I got a 2,800, almost 3,000 square foot building. That's it. You know, we do a lot of that stuff. And not only do we not have the buildings, what about the equipment to make the shoes? So think about this. We would have to have empty buildings that are humongous, right? Hundreds of thousands, millions of square feet. All the equipment would have to be there. Oh, wait. And people that actually knew how to use the equipment. You know, that old chestnut. Let's see, we got none of those things. Yeah, it's not a good deal. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Friday. Yeah, I'm going to start drinking. Not right now. I know it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but it's only 8:30 here in Arizona.
Oh,
but
boy.
yeah, it's going to happen. Man, I don't even know what to say. It worked. Listen, if this was really, truly a negotiating ploy, great, right? I'm going to slap you, China, with 54%, but as soon as you kiss the ring, right, we'll go back to normal, right? Well, then no one's bringing jobs home.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody, right? That doesn't hunt. That doesn't work. You guys know this. Listen, it sounds great in theory. I don't know. I truly don't know. Today, Donald Trump now, China's retaliated. It's okay, 34% on all your stuff. Let's go, right? We haven't heard from the EU. We haven't heard from Japan. All we've heard is, what is Donald Trump doing, right? That's what we've heard, right? Then this morning he goes after Jay Powell, demanding rate cuts. Jay Powell responds and says, tariffs raising inflation. We're going to wait before further rate moves. He doesn't say rate cuts. He says rate moves. You know, and all of a sudden, which I was hoping the Dow was going to be done. Hey, maybe the sell-off, at least for today, is. I don't know. Now look at down 1,400 again.
Yep.
Listen, we've been down as much as 1,700 points right now, 39,120. We've been in 38 and change. I mean, oh man.
Joe, next hour, and maybe we'll play a little bit of it in this hour to get a start. But I'm gonna play a Catherine Austin Fitz. We're gonna go commercial free, and Joe and I are just gonna tag along, and we'll pause it and when we need to talk. And she's got this very. This is before the market. This is what's interesting. She got this piece out before the market started crashing the last 2 days, and she maps everything that Joe just talked about. Plus, she's got it in her mind. She's got it mapped out. She knows what's happening, and she proposes a situation that's getting ready to go down in this economic reset that's going to happen, where the Federal Reserve System is something that we should be keeping because another system that's being put into place that has no authority over it is taking over, which has no controls from the U.S. Congress and the government at all. We hate the government so much, right, Joe? But can you imagine a situation where the government we hate is the better of two situations getting ready to unravel? And she covers the whole thing, Joe. It is spooky, some of the stuff we may be getting ready to look at. And it makes a lot of sense what's been going on since this last election cycle and going into the first couple of months of Trump, it all fits together really nicely, Joe. And I think what we're looking at, it can be very, very, very ugly, which means if this market crash continues like it looks like it's the real deal now, get ready, because any number of emergencies can spring out of nowhere at this point, Joe, because those that make the decisions, those that are going to enrich themselves off this situation, they don't want to be blamed. They don't want anyone looking in the wrong direction, which is for them, at them, right? It's ugly, Joe. This is I was talking to Joe before we got on the air, and I remember, Joe, when COVID was coming through and then the markets started having their problems, Joe saw this, Joe's reaction. I remember the reaction when COVID was starting to happen. I remember Joe's reaction this morning. It was worse. Joe's reaction this morning is worse than how he reacted to when the COVID thing started to go down, which was an economic mess masked by a pandemic, Joe.
Well, and again, the ability to spend money, it was a lot easier when COVID came, right? We don't have that ability now. We can do it. Don't get me wrong. We got a printing press, so we can do it. But at what cost? And this is the big fear here. Listen, right now gold's down 3%. And by far the biggest winner. By far. Right? It's down 3%. And it's, think about it. The NASDAQ or the Dow Jones, the Dow's down 8% in less than 48 hours. The S&P's down 10. The NASDAQ's down almost 12%.
Yeah. And that's just now, because it had already been falling a little bit in previous weeks.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
It had a start. It's not like it just happened today and yesterday. It already had a start, Joe.
It's going to be something where, like I said, I don't know what the end game is. You can't. I got to feel like a broken record. You just can't build this stuff this fast. It doesn't work that way. I mean, yes. I think I said this the other day. Does General Motors maybe have some space somewhere? Probably. Ford, probably. Is the equipment there? No. Do they have the qualified people to run it? Nope. But they can go the fastest. Listen, I don't even know if we got enough people in America that know how to run sewing machines for Nike to put shoes here, right? I mean, come on. And listen, this isn't your mom's sewing machine. These things are high industrial. I mean, yeah.
Joe, these tariffs, in my estimation, have nothing to do with bringing jobs back to America. It has nothing to do with that.
Well, they can't be. This is my point. I guess this is what I'm trying to say. You figured that out, right? It can't happen. Most of these companies, even if they wanted to, couldn't even have these factories open before Donald Trump's out of office. Can't do it. Even with warp speed. Again, I think this is, whatever the plan is, this is obviously part of it. We keep being told, hey, on the other side, America's going to be great again. I'm sure we listen. There's no doubt in my mind we'll be great again. We will, right?
Maybe just a few less of us will be great again than before.
Well, that's right. The problem is every time we're great again, and going back to really the Great Depression, when the Fed took the gold away from the citizenry, every time we're great again, there's less of us being great again, and more of us than the poor to lower middle classes. That's what's getting ready to happen again. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592. And, as expected, these cheap gold premiums seemingly disappearing here Here's what I've got. So right now, 3,025. I've got 25 20s at 3,050. After that, 32.25.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's
gold's
premium.
down 90. $20 gold prices are only down $25. So
we said this weeks ago, Joe, that if gold prices were to recede a little bit, the premiums would just swallow it up, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Now, you want to see how crazy things are? 2 days ago. So I'll show this for our YouTubers. This is our little price sheet of the major items that we carry. This was from 2 days ago. U.S. Silver Eagles were $835 a roll. Remember yesterday, I was like, oh, God, buy some of the $785. U.S. Silver Eagles, I'm going to put them on, they're at $735. I'm going to go $725 on rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles. That is $110 less that they were on Wednesday morning. $110 less a roll than what they were on Wednesday morning. $725 for a roll of 20 U.S. Silver Eagles. I remember thinking, wow, Jason, before we knew what the chart, we were like, none of us knew. Right? We kept, well, what's it going to be? And then it ended up being way worse than what anybody said. And listen, look at what's happened to oil, copper, silver, right? All these commodities are going to the woodshed because they're worried that the whole world's going to be in some horrible depression over this thing. I don't know. Right now, that kind of appears like that may be the case. Unless we pull out a just kidding, and I don't think we are.
It might be no return. It's already happened. Just because you decide to take the tariffs off doesn't mean that everything else in the world is going to go back to where it was before you made the decision. This is why Trump, I think, has to stand by this for a little while, because if he just pulls back out of it, the damage is sort of done in a certain level, Joe. So I think this tariff thing is going to be on. I would imagine 2 to 3 months is the short span of this tariff situation. So you have to do it now.
I'll say this: if Jason is right, that's too long. We don't have that much time. Truly, seriously, because that's companies. They need certainty. We have no certainty. This is kind of let's just throw the baby out with the bathwater, sell everything, all the commodities. Look at what happening on Wall Street here. Silver is way oversold here. Gold's hung in there. We knew gold would. No one's worried about gold. Jump on this silver here. $725. It's a steal. It's an outright steal. 800-951-0592. And again, the 25 20s. The funny part is it's about half Saints, half Libs, at 3,050. Where's gold? 3,025. 800-951-0592. And, I guess we're going to have to be glued to Truth Social, seeing what Donald Trump's going to put out there. Very interesting today, the back and forth with Jay Powell. We're getting more comments from Powell. He was giving a speech before business journalists in Virginia when Donald Trump tweeted out in all caps, "Stop playing politics, cut rates now, Jerome." Powell responded that the Fed faces a highly uncertain outlook because of the tariffs announced by the president on Wednesday. Our obligation is to keep longer-term inflation expectations well anchored and to make certain that a one-time increase in price levels does not become an ongoing inflation problem. We are well positioned to wait for far greater clarity before considering any adjustments to our policy stance. It is too soon to say what will be the appropriate path for monetary policy. Jason, essentially, Jay Powell says, listen, Wall Street, we're not going to bail you out. I think that's kind of the message coming out. I got to remember, unless there's an emergency meeting, right? The Fed just had a meeting 2 weeks ago. They just had a meeting. So unless there's an emergency meeting here, we won't get anything from the Fed until what, early May?
Yep. Well,
right now, I saw on TV this morning, so I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, and they're already freaking out and doing this and doing that. And they're saying Wall Street is priced in a 100% chance that the Fed is going to cut in May, in June, and in 94% they're going to cut in August. Jay Powell just came out and said, I don't know what these guys are talking about, right? We're waiting to see what happens. And you know what? The jobs number today tells them, yeah, you can wait. You can wait. 800-951-0592. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. The bloodbath continues. Carnage in the marketplace as China has responded with a 34% tariff of their own. Jay Powell shooting down any hopes of a rate cut. Right now, the Dow is down 1,400 in change, just above 39,000. The S&P down 212 points, 5,184. Gosh, you think about people were talking about 7,000 S&P this year. Some of the bigger ones. I mean, and then the NASDAQ down another 600 plus points, 15,000.
Joe, let me say this real quick. Let me say this. I've been saying that when the markets, when the sell-off happens, when the crash, it was going to be, it's baked in. It was overvalued anyways. But I said, to me, Joe, when this new economic system, or however they're going to move things in this problem they have, that there would probably be a false flag around it. However, they have built a storyline for the news, that if this, what we're looking at today, Joe, develops into a long-term recession or even a depression, let's just say this is the start of it, the major start of it. I don't know, 4 quarters negative GDP, 6 quarters negative GDP, a massive economic downturn worldwide. Who's the world, especially this country, who are they going to blame? Who are they going to blame if this is what sparks it? They're going to blame Trump. Is it possible? So the 08 crash, they blamed the big banks. They didn't really blame the central banks, right? They blamed the big banks. So we didn't have a 9/11. We didn't have a COVID during the 08 crash. We don't have to have a false flag if you have a banker martyr. Trump could actually be a martyr for the system, that he sparked off this entire recession, this entire 2-year economic depression, 4-year, 10-year, however long this thing lasts. It was all Trump and his wild ideas. Is it possible that he's going to be martyred for this? Because everybody that talks about this, Joe, is scratching their head. Trump supporters, people that don't support Trump, government, foreign governments. Everybody is saying, well, why is he doing this? Have you heard anybody that says, yeah, I love this. This is great. Has anybody said that on both sides? I haven't heard anybody say that this is the greatest thing. This in the end, this is going to be the best thing ever. I mean, there's a few, I'm sure, out there. And if you create a martyr, then no one's going to point the finger once again, just like 2019, when it was all unraveling, and then here came COVID, so that we can point it at the disease. In this instance, Joe, I mean, the whole tariff thing is all Trump. The whole entire thing. I don't think Trump cooked this up by himself. I don't. I saw a piece talking about the tariffs and how they were calculating it. And this guy was like, this was Ben Norton. He's like, none of this makes sense. The calculations and the reasoning for what they're saying, why they're doing this, doesn't even hold water for itself. The Trump team can't even explain what they're doing. Someone is guiding this to happen. Is Trump going to be the martyr so that we don't blame who's really responsible for this economic disaster, Joe?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I will say that it's getting worrisome that we don't have clarity. And when you don't have clarity, then you got things like we're getting these last few days. $20 gold. We still got the 2520s, 3,050. And then, of course, U.S. Silver Eagles. What an incredible opportunity. 725 at 800-951-0592.